It was really emotional for me. Just as a viewer, I was incredibly emotional. I was actually able to disconnect, like, the story is so amazing, I was able to disconnect enough, and from the 2/3 point way on, I didn't even try and compose myself.
The entire connection I have with a reader, it's private, and then you see it with a group, it's like you just don't feel alone, do you?
So what was it about Emma that made you so sure that she was your Sam?
Two things. The first one was, I knew when I saw this scene from The Goblet of Fire, when she was with Daniel Radcliffe in front of the staircase and she broke down, and it broke my heart. And then it was that, plus then meeting her and realizing that somehow this kid had lived in the eye of a hurricane for a decade and found herself actually more grounded and generous and sweet for being there. And I knew that I had my, den mother of the island of misfit toys.
And how did you feel when you first saw your performance on screen?
It was really emotional for me. It's really weird because I was just thinking about Steve a lot of the time I was watching it. I was just like, you bugger, you did it. Like, everything he said came true. He did such a great job, and that made me emotional because I'm kind of Steve's friend too. And then also, just as a viewer, I was incredibly emotional. I was actually able to disconnect, like, the story is so amazing, I was able to disconnect enough, and from the 2/3 point way on, I didn't even try and compose myself. I was just like, I give up, I'm just done. It's definitely an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
For sure.
And how did you first feel when you first saw it on the big screen, in a theater with other people?
I felt incredibly proud, and the best thing is when, as an author, the entire connection I have with a reader, it's private. They're in I wrote it in a room, they read it in a room or in a plane or something like that. And then you see it with a group, and you realize that, like, if you're laughing and that person's laughing and that person's laughing and this person's gasping when you are, it's like you just don't feel alone, do you? And that's the best feeling, and that's why I wanted to make this movie.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I can, look, to be a first-time studio director who can say, you give me all the money and time in the world, I wouldn't touch a frame of this movie, a cast member, a song, that this is the definitive version of my book. I'm pretty proud to be able to say that and say it quite honestly.
And Emma, do you have either a favorite scene or favorite performance?
The tunnel scene for the experience of making, because it was so fun, but then the kiss scene because there will be an unspoken connection between Logan and I for the rest of our lives because of that scene. It's really weird. It was like no acting required. It just like broke my heart. It was crazy.